Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Isključio ovo. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, he's making them off. For me, just for me, because of the... Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaya mudirayet nashta prayesha badreshu nitya bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Jaya Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Today we read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, text 24, verse 38. Gacha kamam maya prishto. Gacha kamam maya prishto. Mai sanyasta karmana. Mai sanyasta karmana. Jitva sudurjayam mrityu. Jitva sudurjayam mrityu. Amritatvaya mam bhaja. Amritatvaya mam bhaja. Gacha kama maya prishto. Mai sanyasta karmana. Jitva sudurjayam mrityu. Amritatvaya mam bhaja. Please. Ladies. Gacha kama maya prishto, mai sanyasta karmana, amritatvaya mambaja, gacham kama maya prishto, jitva sudurjaya mrityum. Okay, now word for word. Gacha, go. Kamam, as you wish. Maya, by me. Aprishtaha, sanctioned. Mai, to me. Sanyasta, completely surrendered. Karmana, with your activities. Jitva, having conquered. Sudurjayam, insurmountable. Mrityum, death. Amritatvaya, for eternal life. Mam, unto me. Bhaja, engage in devotional service. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation of the verse. Now, being sanctioned by me, go as you desire, surrendering all your activities to me. Conquering insurmountable death, worship me for eternal life. Hare Krishna. These very ominous words, very significant words, very existential words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, telling to His devotee, now I'm sanctioning you. You go. I gave you the blessings. So I was just thinking, these are the devotees, they come to Mayapur Dham, they get some blessings, and Krishna says, now, I gave you the blessings, go as you desire, and surrender all your activities to me, and this is how you can conquer insurmountable death, by worshiping me. Purport, by His Divine Grace. The purpose of Sankhya philosophy is stated herein. If anyone wants real, eternal life, he has to engage himself in devotional service or Krishna consciousness. To become free from birth and death is not an easy task. Birth and death are natural to this material body. Sudurjayam means very, very difficult to overcome. The modern so-called scientists do not have sufficient means to understand the process of victory over birth and death. Therefore, they set aside the question of birth and death. They do not consider it. They simply engage in the problems of the material body, which is transient and sure to end. Actually, human life is meant for conquering the insurmountable process of birth and death. That can be done as stated here. Mam bhaja. One must engage in the devotional service of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita also, the Lord says, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. Just become my devotee. Just worship me. But foolish so-called scholars say that it is not Krishna whom we must worship and to whom we must surrender. It is something else. Without Krishna's mercy, therefore, no one can understand the Sankhya philosophy or any philosophy, which is especially meant for liberation. Vedic knowledge confirms that one becomes entangled in this material life because of ignorance, and that one can become free from material embarrassment but become situated in factual knowledge. Sankhya means that factual knowledge by which one can get out of the material entanglement. Gacha kama maya prishto mai sanyasta karmana jitva sudurjaya mrityum amritatvaya mambaja. Now, Krishna speaks, been sanctioned by me, go as you desire, surrendering all your activities to me, conquering insurmountable death, worship me for eternal life. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hare Krishna. So this is, as I said, very ominous verse, very significant verse, existential verse. You know, there's some verses like this who actually enters the core of our activities and our existence. And I will analyze Sanskrit, a little bit Sanskrit words here, the meaning of it, and how can we interpret this verse. But before, I just wanted to say how Prabhupada says here, it is not, what is it? Just worship me. And he says, some foolish so-called scholars say that it is not Krishna whom we must worship and to whom we must surrender, it is something else. Prabhupada used this example very often. Those who read Prabhupada's books, we can see Prabhupada says many times, when Krishna says, Man mana bhavadma bhakto, surrender unto me, Prabhupada says, some unscrupulous scholars or some foolish scholars. But what he refers to is, we can read it in the book called, this is actually a compilation of the articles of Srila Prabhupada, written in Sajjana Toshani, I think. Anybody scholars here? That Bhakti Charu Maharaj was collecting. This is in Bengali magazine. And this is later published as Renunciation Through Wisdom. In the beginning, in the 90s, it's called Sword of Knowledge, but they translated later Renunciation Through Wisdom. And Prabhupada uses the example of, at that time, Vice President or President of India, Dr. Radhakrishnan. He was a scholar, but he was also President of India, politician. And in this, he gave commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. And in these commentaries, when Krishna says, surrender unto me, Dr. Radhakrishna says, it is not unto Krishna that one has to surrender. He has to surrender into the unborn, something like unexistent, which unmanifested, spoken through Krishna. The Krishna is just like a mouthpiece of this unborn and unmanifested. So Prabhupada used this many examples. And interesting enough, in the Renunciation Through Wisdom, Prabhupada, because at that time, this was because Prabhupada, before he went to America, so he was still not on his firm ground, so to say. So Prabhupada says, there's this commentary by Dr. Radhakrishna. He's undoubtedly a great scholar. And one brahmachari from our ashram, he read this commentary, and he uses this brahmachari. I was very surprised how much this scholar actually does not know anything. He said, he gives the example as if somebody who reads the whole Ramayana, and then you ask, and whose father is Sita? You know, meaning that person who read Ramayana, he had no idea what he read. He says, in the same way, doctor is suggesting this, meaning that he did not understand who Krishna is. So Prabhupada is very tactful, but he uses this example many times. So just for you to know, that anytime there's a mention that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this is affirmed by our acharyas. This is affirmed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he met devotees from Kulina Grama. And this devotee who wrote Satyaraj Khan, he wrote a book, Krishna Vijaya. And Lord Chaitanya wanted to read. He said, give me this book. And he opened the first line, was Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He said, close the book. This is a perfect book. Because ultimately, this is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One of the missions. And one of the missions of Srila Prabhupada. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Paschatya Desha Tarya. To liberate the Western world from the Nirvishesha impersonalism and voidism. Okay, this is just a little short introduction. Now we're going to the verse. Gacha kamam. Gacha kamam. This particular two words here, gacha and kamam. Gacha means go. Krishna told him, go. And kamam means desire, as you wish. I thought this is a significant thing for, we are talking here, the Association of Devotees, for the devotees, because Gacha Kamam, Krishna is actually giving us all this knowledge. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave Arjuna this famous verse. This one devotee told me, he gave a lecture in Bhagavad Gita, and after this one Indian gentleman told him, but sir, you didn't say the most important verse in the Bhagavad Gita. And the speaker said, what's the verse in Bhagavad Gita most important? He said, Krishna says, now I told you this transcendental knowledge, now you do as you like. And there was, well, this is not exactly, But actually it is. Because Krishna gives, of course, what he meant was different what we mean. What we mean is that Krishna gives us free will to actually practice Krishna consciousness according to our own karma and our own desires. So we all have free will to desire to our full heart satisfaction. Sometimes as devotees we think, like, okay, I'll do whatever I'm told, and if Krishna wants me to do this, I will do. Yes, we think like this, but at the same time, we desire Krishna. Otherwise, we also have to desire Krishna. This is a lobha, called in the nectar devotion. This is the greed to have Krishna, to obtain Krishna. So therefore, we have to, as devotees, accept the responsibility for our actions. We said, oh, it's not me, it's once again, I met one Indian gentleman on the street, and I didn't see him a long time. He was a member of our congregation. And I said, Mr. Patel, when are you coming to the temple? And he said, I will come to the temple when he wants me to come. No responsibility whatsoever, no karma. But actually there is karma, and this karma is not directed towards Krishna. So therefore, as devotees, we have a responsibility to desire Krishna. We have this responsibility. So we should not put responsibility on somebody else's back. Once I was undecisive. Should I go to this place or that place? Three places. Which place should I go? And so I was praying to Krishna, please, Krishna, give me the sign. We expect this. Krishna comes and said, yes, my dear, such and such das, I want you to go there. And nothing happened. And I asked one devotee, what do you think what Krishna wants me to do? And he said, maybe Krishna wants you to decide where you want to go, and he will go along with it. This was a huge revelation for me. Maybe Krishna wants me to exercise my own free will, karma. Do I want to go towards Krishna, or do I not want to go towards Krishna? So therefore, our prayer as devotees is, please, whatever the situation is, let me never deviate from your lotus feet. In the famous Leela of the 21 hours of, anybody? Srimad Bhagavatam? Mahaprakash Leela. Lord Chaitanya was sitting on the altar, and he asked one devotee after the other, what do you want? Imagine, Lord Chaitanya, we pray to Panchatattva, and Panchatattva comes, and Lord Chaitanya said, okay, what do you want? And you were like, large pizza with extra cheese. That was a very difficult question. So he asked Kolavecha Sridhar. We know Kolavecha Sridhar, there's a little behind there, on the way to Jagannath temple, there's a samadhi of Kolavecha Sridhar where he had his house. He was very, very poor. So Lord Chaitanya said, Kolavecha, I'll give you anything you want. What do you want? Anything. Imagine, anything. And Kolavecha said, just let me not deviate from the service of your lotus feet. So this is actually the attitude of a devotee. And this is our responsibility. Our responsibility is not, should we succeed in this way or should we fail in this way? Our responsibility is to always strive to achieve the lotus feet of Krishna. And if he brings us to this, if we succeed, we say, okay, Krishna, you made it. And if you fail, you can say, oh, it's my mistake. There's this book by Bhakti Vikas Swami about Srila Prabhupada. I don't know exactly the title. But he says, this book is meant for glorification of Srila Prabhupada. If anything good come out of this book, if you are somehow enthused, this is all by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. If anything shortcoming, if anything's bad, it's my shortcoming. So this is important. Devotees always look towards Krishna. How do I achieve the lotus feet of Krishna? Gauranga tu mimore doyal na chadiha. Any Bengalis here? Meaning, this is a song. My dear Lord Chaitanya, please don't give me up. Don't kick me out from your lotus feet. This is our prayer. But that said, we should always strive towards Krishna. So therefore, we have to take responsibility for our own spiritual life. You can, social media, Facebook, whatever, social media, full of people, people begrudging, I cannot practice Krishna consciousness because of this reason, because of this temple president, because of this situation, my guru, this, or whatever situation. The weather is bad, so many different situations, but actually it's our own fault. We should always accept, yes, it's my fault. And therefore, we'll see the verse later, I shall cross through all these obstacles by having faith, firm faith, paratmanishtam. So, because as long as there's material body, there'll be problems. Always. This is a material body is the problem. As somebody, this example, if you go to jail, of course there'll be problems. These are all criminals there. So you can say, these people are not nice here in jail. No, they're not, because this is jail. So the material world is not nice, because this is material world. Anyway, this is, so therefore we should not strive to actually improve our material condition. Devotional service is not meant to improve our material condition. You will never be able to improve your material condition. Whatever is your karma, if your karma to live like in the heavenly planets, this is your karma, nobody can change it. If your karma is to live in the not heavenly planets, it's always problem. Always. So this is the material. We should not try to improve it, but we should try to deal with the situation to be always Krishna conscious. Even if we just did a course on Prabhupada, how much struggle Srila Prabhupada has done. How much struggle. And he just kept on. He didn't try to improve his material life. He didn't say, I sold a few books, I should rent a better room than Radha Damodar. They have a wallpaper and Western style toilet, whatever. Prabhupada stayed there where he was. He just tried to preach Krishna consciousness. So this is a good lesson. And Prabhupada says here that desireless is not there. When people want to be desireless or empty or whatever, they have different philosophies, Buddhism, Shunyavada, and Nirvishesha Mayavada philosophy, to become desireless. You can never be desireless. Prabhupada always uses this. Desireless means you can never be completely empty, completely absent. It's not possible. Therefore, my desire should be not to forget Krishna. He said, this is the real desire. This is the one desire. And all other desires, Prabhupada says, they are foolish. So all the desires we have, imagine how many desires. Some studies are done, how many thoughts we have during the day. Somebody says 12,000, somebody says 60,000, but many, many thousands. So imagine how many of these are desires. I want this, I want this. And all these desires are foolish. Because there's only one desire, how to not forget Krishna or how to remember Krishna. So this is the ideal that Prabhupada gave us. If we cannot live up to the ideal, this is a different story. Then we have other ways in the Bhagavad Gita is described. If you cannot do this, you can do this. But the ideal is this. Confirm. The ideal is to actually always remember Krishna, and this is the only desire devotee has. All other desires are subservient to this desire. Like for example, you want to come to Mayapur, you have to buy the ticket, you have to prepare this, you have to buy a suitcase for the luggage. So buying suitcase has nothing to do with devotional service, but is connected to actually, even going to Mayapur has nothing to do with devotional service unless you go and want to engage in devotional service. So all these things are subservient to this. So, therefore, devotees should only try to this, not to try to improve material desires. And the biggest trap for improving material desires is mode of goodness. Hare Krishna. Mode of goodness is you can see among the association devotees is a big enemy, actually. In one sense, mode of goodness is very helpful, as Prabhupada says, and Bhagavad Gita says, it's very helpful because it's closest to the transcendental realm. But at the same time, mode of goodness can be a great obstacle. Why? Because they become conditioned by this concept of happiness. Bhagavad Gita says, 14.6. Prabhupada says in the purport. People become conditioned by the sense of happiness. So therefore, we as devotees, we have to be watch out. You know, especially the older devotees. In the beginning, we run and do this, but older devotees, we try to have everything together, everything clean, everything nice. And then we think, yes, wonderful. This is wonderful, but there's higher than that. You know, we should not be trapped in the mode of goodness. This is a danger. All right, so this is the first Gacha Kamam, Mayapur. Any questions or comments on this? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up that point about how it's possible that the mode of goodness could become almost like a trap.
Yes.
Because it makes us feel comfortable. It makes us almost sometimes feel superior to others who are not enjoying Krishna consciousness the way we've set up our lives to enjoy. And we forget the urgency. That's the biggest, what I think, the biggest problem with the mode of goodness is if it makes us forget the urgency of saving fallen souls.
Yes.
So thank you for that point.
Thank you. Prabhuji?
You mentioned the goal of life is to always remember Krishna.
Yes.
And that's repeated throughout Prabhupada's books.
Yes.
Couldn't a more refined understanding be...
Can you just look closer, please?
Couldn't a more refined understanding be to always try to love Krishna? Not just remember, but to love.
In the beginning, we cannot love Krishna, you know. I think this is a general statement. The general statement is don't forget Krishna. And within this, it's love Krishna. In the beginning, when we joined, I did not love Krishna, you know. Usually people in the beginning, they have no concept of loving Krishna. Loving Krishna is actually, ultimately bhava and prema.
You were stating our only desire is to never forget Krishna.
Yes.
I'm kind of like just saying, yes, I agree, but there's another way of looking at it in terms of that devotional love. That should be our desire.
Yes, this is the ultimate issue, yes.
Yeah.
I think this is a general statement. Yeah. Prabhuji, can somebody bring the phone? Phone. Microphone.
Hare Krishna, really nice points, Prabhu. We often hear about attaining the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yes.
And I think it's kind of it's a maxim, but I think a lot of devotees may not really understand what it means to attain the lotus feet of Krishna.
Yes.
Maybe you
it could be vague, or it could be more clearly defined.
Maybe you could expand on
Yes.
your realizations of what that means.
Yes, thank you. What does it mean to attain the lotus feet of Krishna? To attain the lotus feet of Krishna means that we take shelter of Krishna. Again, this also can be vague, but meaning that all our activities, all we do, yada shnosi yad, this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you do, just always do this for me. And Krishna, in reciprocation, will always keep us at his feet, you can say, so at his protection. And we become Vishnu Jana, or Vishnu Jan, we are Vishnu Jan Swami. Vishnu Jana, we become Vishnu's own people. Vishnu's own. So this is lotus feet, attaining the lotus feet of Krishna. Yes.
When we attain someone's lotus feet, like Prabhupada's, it also means that we've taken a very humble position. We're not the supreme center of the universe anymore. The Hankara. It's not blocking us when we actually have this mood of surrendering to the lotus feet.
Yes, I will
Krishna.
speak a little bit about this later on.
Okay.
No problem. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. I think we are, okay.
Lotus feet, attaining lotus feet means following the lotus feet. What do feet do?
Follows, yes.
No, what do we do if we attain feet?
We follow the feet.
We are following.
Yes.
That's very important understanding of attaining. Like the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada means now you're going to follow him.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I think I'm going to go to the next stage. Yes, somebody else? Prabhu, you wanted to say something? Yes.
Thank you for your nice class and giving
I'm still speaking.
and lots of time you give for asking question.
Sorry?
You gave lot of time for asking question. Thank you for this.
Yes, I have two more parts, by the way, for your information.
So, speak something or
Yes, yes.
So thank you for your class. My question is, in disciple follow footsteps of his Gurudev. One disciple
Yes.
strictly follow footsteps of his Gurudev.
Yes.
But Gurudev is following another way.
Sorry?
Guru is following another way. He is going
Other way, which way?
other way, diverted.
Oh, not in Krishna's direction. Okay, I will say it later.
You say everything fault of me, everything fault of disciple. We think everything fault of myself. Okay, so in this case, whose fault? If a disciple feel morose, if Gurudev diverted, whose fault is in this case? Understand my question?
If Guru is you follow the lotus feet of Guru, and if Guru goes other way than Krishna,
Simple.
so what then?
What is the fault?
Whose fault?
Some Guru.
Why should it be your fault?
Simple things, Guru fall down.
Yes.
Understand? And disciple feel morose, feel very sad.
He feels morose, yes.
So whose fault is here in this case? A simple question.
Fault in which sense? Like if you want to go to a court, you have to accuse something of what? You're accusing whom of what?
Very simple questions.
not
Sometimes we see
Yes.
Gurudev is
Guru falls down, and disciples suffer.
and disciple strictly. Yeah. So
Okay, then forget. We can talk later on. Prabhu doesn't want to listen. Yes.
okay.
He doesn't talk about Prabhupada, but anyways, I understand. Okay, let's talk about this later.
No, you're not
Yes, I understand. Okay,
I
I have more lecture to just like. Okay, Shanti, please, everybody. All the emotions, please, emotions down. Yes, we can talk about this later, Prabhu. Okay, turn the microphone off, please. Thank you. So, we are going further. So, we are going to, it's okay, Prabhu. For Prabhupada. So, next one is Maya Aprishta. Maya Aprishta. So Maya means by me, and Aprishta means sanctioned. So in lecture of 97 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1968, Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture in Montreal. And he said, if you want to know Shanti, Shanti means peace, then you should simply understand that everything belongs to God. So, and nothing belongs to you. Even the body does not belong to you. Prabhupada says, to me. And I've come to this world open, Prabhupada says open-handed, means we came here with nothing, and we leave this body with nothing. So it is simply an illusion to think that this is mine. So Krishna sanctioned, he said we should go with Krishna sanctioned, but we have to understand, first of all, that everything is Krishna sanctioned. Our life itself is Krishna sanctioned. It is simple, Prabhupada says, it is simply an illusion to think this is mine, this is mine. It's an illusion. So therefore, when we wake up in the morning, I always mention this, there's this red book of the Pujari by Krishna Kshetra Maharaj written, the manual for the Pujaris. And it's the first thing in the morning you get up, and before you get up from your sleeping bag or your bed, first thing what you do, you offer praise to your spiritual master, and you offer praise to Mother Bhumi. Please excuse me that I have to walk on you. This is the verse. So imagine, this is a consciousness. that without Krishna there's no air. Without Krishna there's no sun. Without Krishna there's no material body. So, claiming, we have to understand this, and we have to act in such a knowledge. Prabhupada says, Krishna provides everything, even though we are disobedient, still He is supplying all necessities of life. Even people who say, I don't believe in God. There's this recently in the 2010 or so, there was a group in England who wrote this famous manifesto, humanistic manifesto against God. God does not exist. And they're writing, big scholars, So Prabhupada actually says here that these people without Krishna cannot do anything. I imagine Krishna is laughing, looking at this and thinking, oh my God, again. Again this life, again these people, Like a children, they make another mistake and you say, okay, again. Okay, next life, So everything belongs to Krishna. So to understand this, it requires a little humility, actually. So therefore, humility is very important. I'm not speaking Trinana Pisunichana Tarora Pisunichana. This is a very high level of humility, very, very high level of Lord Chaitanya's humility, that he doesn't see the all vacant, devoid of Krishna. But humility in a sense that we appreciate that somebody else is higher than me. And therefore, in all this, in the Vedas, you have all these rituals. What are these rituals for? Worshipping to the demigods. These rituals are meant for people to understand there's somebody higher than me. There's the Indra who brings the thunder, who brings the rain. It's not me. Although now, recently, what was the name of this Microsoft man who wanted to create some artificial clouds to cover the rains, to something in Sweden that was recently. He wants to play God to create clouds above the sky, somehow or other. But it requires humility to actually understand everything is coming from Krishna. So if we act on this platform, that everything is coming from Krishna, then it will be easier to understand things, as Prabhupada was saying. Humility is very important. Again, I'm not talking about, what are Prabhu touching the feet? No, humility to understand everything I walk. If there's no Krishna to give air, I will suffocate right now. If there's no sun, imagine there's no sun. We just take things for granted. Now, Radhanath Swami uses this word, gratitude, but this is more of some other religion expression. But I would use more humility, that we actually understand that everything is coming from Krishna. Everything is made by Krishna. All the elements are made by Krishna. So therefore, then we can understand, okay, Krishna sanctioned it, then we see Krishna's hand everywhere. As in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's description that the king was walking on the road in the forest and he saw a naked man, completely naked. But the king was spiritually advanced, and he saw that this man was very advanced. He's not like ordinary guy. And he said, sir, you don't have any, no tilak, you don't belong to any school. You don't obviously do any practices. So how come you are so advanced? Where is this coming from? And he said, well, I learned, and then he gives this famous 26 gurus in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, that actually by ascending process he could learn from the water, from the cloud, he learned from all these things, and he becomes spiritually advanced. Because he could understand that this is all Krishna. But this is a very unique and not to be imitated, especially with clothing. And we have a sampradaya, we have a process, as Prabhupada was saying, we are following Prabhupada in footsteps, and this is the safe way. In America, they have the chain store, Safeway. This is the safe way, the safest way. Once there was a flood here, I heard this, one devotee told me, they were walking with Prabhupada, and there was a flood on this road. Now all these buildings on the other side towards Ganga, but before there was no buildings, there was just Ganga. And this road was their main road, as we call it nowadays. And this is called Bhaktisiddhanta Road. And the things were flooded, and the devotee said, Prabhupada, everything was flooded up to the Bhaktisiddhanta Road. And Prabhupada says, if we stay always on the Bhaktisiddhanta Road, we will always be safe. So we should always stay on the Bhaktisiddhanta road and Srila Prabhupada's road. So this is the part 3. Would you like to very shortly comment on part 3? Oh, it's part 2, sorry. On humility and everything is coming from Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. First time, second time, third time, lost. We are going to the number 3. Mai sanyasta karmana jitva. Mai sanyasta karmana. Mai sanyasta means to me. Sanyasta, completely surrendered. Prabhupada translated sannyas as completely surrendered. Karmana, all your activities. So all your activities, if you completely surrender to me, then you are sannyasi. Then you are, Prabhupada says, completely surrendered. So, interesting enough, Prabhupada speaks here. The sannyas, actually, I'm talking about sannyas now, sannyas, actual sannyas. The sannyas means, the Prabhupada says, one should become a pure devotee. And wherever he will go, he will purify. This is what sannyas means. So sannyas means one who is a pure devotee, and wherever he goes, he purifies this or she purifies this land or people. So again, that doesn't mean, later on Srila Prabhupada explains that sannyas does not mean only dress. He said you can be wearing a dress of a sannyasi and be engaged in materialistic activity. Which again, coming back to this mode of goodness, and we'll see later on in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada gives certain, this is actually quoted of Bhaktisiddhanta, between the Kutinati, Pratishta, different subtle contaminations that we can have. So therefore, sannyas means total surrender to Krishna. Anya bilasita shunyam, jnana karma dinavritam, jnana and karma, everything. Anukulyena Krishnana anushilanam. This anushilanam is such an important word. Means favorable to Krishna. Favorable to Krishna. If you read these early days in the 60s in San Francisco, when they installed whatever, they brought this Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in Frederick Street. Now last time I was there was a laundromat in this place. I hope devotees will buy it one day. But in this place, the very early, 1967, when they put, and Prabhupada says one should bring something to the deities, something which is very dear to you. So the hippies will buy jeans and they will offer to Krishna. He says, my dear, says some people buy bread, offer Krishna a loaf of bread. You know, this is what they knew, what is the best. This is my best. I'm offering you my best. You know. So sannyas meaning giving everything to Krishna. Everything to Krishna. So in the 11th canto, this is a very famous verse, sannyas verse. Anybody candidates for sannyas here? Yeah, we have one here. No, I'm just... So, etam sa astaya paratmanishtam adyasintam purvatmair maharishibir aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukudangri nisheva yaiva. I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience. Durantaparam, insurmountable. Dura means impossible. Impossible to cross. Ocean of nescience, but being firmly fixed in the service, in the lotus feet of Krishna. This is 11, 23 to 57. 57. 50. So I shall cross this insurmountable ocean of nescience. Because the ocean of nescience is impossible to cross. When we read Bhagavad Gita and we say, yeah, this is so easy. But it's so many people, it's not easy at all. At all. You know, for people to become vegetarians is a huge thing. Huge thing. You know. Or to speak of other significant regulative principle. Very difficult to overcome. Insurmountable. So many desires. So much false ego. But by Krishna, Paratma Nishtam, by having firm faith, Nishta in this Param Atman, the Supreme Soul, Krishna, I will cross all this very easily. So, Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 3.6, if one accepts the sannyas order, his main business is to devote his life completely to the service of Krishna. So this is actually sannyas. This is renunciation. Dedicate all your activities to Krishna. If one does not completely devote his mind and body to the service of the Lord, he does not actually become a sannyasi. It is not simply a matter of changing a dress. So it's not just changing a dress. It's actually surrendering to Krishna. And Prabhupada says, what is the surrendering to Krishna? In the beginning, giving up bad habits. And these bad habits in the beginning, gross, as we call it, or this very physical, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. And after some time, we are doing it well, and you think like, wow, I'm doing it, I'm fine. I'm pure devotee. Vachavegam, manasakrodavegam, jivaravegam, udarapasta that's me. I can make disciples all over the world. Haribol, I am good. But then, there's Radhanath Swami had this very nice statement. He said, it is easier to tolerate humiliation than to tolerate fame. This is very interesting. I mean, he knows. If anybody is famous, that's Radhanath Swami, We have our own 5 minutes of fame, as famous Andy Warhol says. Everybody has their own 5 minutes of fame. So we are temple commander for 6 months, and we are like, yes, I can order these bhaktas now. This is dirty. We have our own 5 minutes of fame. But here, Radhanath Maharaj said, it's easier to tolerate humiliation because we go through difficult times as devotees. We go through everything. When you look back at 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, what have I done for Krishna? But it's not the end, as Prabhu was saying, Rabashah Prabhu. There's always need for surrender. And this need for surrender comes to a subtler level. And this subtler level is as follows. Kuti Nati, Prabhupada says in the purport, on the cleansing of the Gondicha temple. He quotes Bhaktisiddhanta. Kuti Nati means fault-finding or duplicity. We become duplicitous. In our own heart, we cannot follow, but then we go out in front of our followers, and we pretend, this array of your hand, mercy comes to the disciples, whatever, But actually, in reality, we may not be on that level. So this is the danger. And because nobody, once you're older devotee, I don't know, young devotees here, some, not many. In the beginning, people tell you, do this, don't do this, do this, do this. And you're like, okay. But after 5 years, after 10 years, nobody's going to tell you anything anymore. Anybody. You sleep until 7:30, you say, hey, it's okay, Prabhu, you're tired, it's okay. Nobody's going to smash you, tell you, what are you doing, man? This is Maya. That's why I was impressed with Adbhuta Hari. He brought some bhaktas, that was 3 years ago. And and he said, oh, he's spaced out. I said, wow, I didn't hear this a long time. And somebody says he's spaced out. Because nowadays this is forbidden word to correct people. You know, no, Prabhu, this is okay. He's tired, Or somebody comes so many years and don't do any service. It's okay, he likes prasadam. There's always need to improve. So when we are become senior or a little bit of a senior devotees, we have to be introspective ourselves. We have to look in our own heart and think, what is this? Am I doing right or am I doing not right? Is this Krishna conscious? Is this not Krishna conscious? We should ask other sadhus who are on our level or advanced, even better. Do you think this is a good idea? It is very difficult to actually make good judgment about yourself. We know the doctors, they're very expert in giving advice. But about yourself, they cannot, mostly. Because this is a nature. I'm expert in giving advice, you do this, but my own self, it's okay. So duplicity is a very dangerous thing. Next thing, pratishtasa, the desire for name and fame or for high position. ISKCON is a breeding ground for this. Oh, in 3 years, I can be there, 7 years, I can be there. And then you elbow, you think you're elbowing your way back to Godhead. This is also okay. Actually, according to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he wrote this short story called Balam Rice. You know the story, Balam Rice? There was a master, he had a land, and he had all these servants, but they were very lazy. And he asked them to do something extra, they all leave. He said, we don't want to work. So then he get another seasonal workers. They work a little bit, they leave. So he asked a friend, how can I stop them of leaving? They're always leaving. He said, just give them the Balam rice. Just consider at that time in India, this is a basmati, type of basmati rice. And ghee. This is the best food you can get. Nowadays, we have different desires. We all need this and that. But at that time, to eat this wonderful rice with ghee is the best thing you can do in the society. So this master served all his servants with basmati rice and ghee. So they ate, and he asked them to do something more. They said, no, they left. And 1 week later, they came back. He said, why did you come back? He said, we came back because we got attached to balam rice and ghee. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati uses this example. Therefore, institution is very good to attract people who are not so interested in Krishna consciousness. Because if you read Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they're sitting in a cottage grove under a tree. And Prabhupada said, if I sit on a tree, who would come to hear Bhaktivedanta speak? Therefore, I created these buildings, institutions. And institutions, we have all kinds of committees and subcommittees of the subcommittees. And then we engage in these activities. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm saying this is a possibility for people who are not so much interested in Krishna consciousness per se, but in the position. So this is also okay. This is the purpose of the institution, to keep yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayet. Somehow or other, Rupa Goswami said, one should think sarva vidhi nishedasyur etayor evam kinkaram. Somehow or other, one should think of Krishna. So Prabhupada, by creating ISKCON, he makes people think of Krishna. Somebody drives here and he's very proud of you have security in the temple, and he's chanting his rounds. Do you think the security who chants, he works 8 hours, how long he's working, you think he would chant 8 hours in front of Radha and Krishna? No, but this institution, Balam Rice is there. So he thinks of Krishna 8 hours a day, which is great. So this is pratishtasa, but we should not be desiring fame and name. We should not be desiring it. If the name and fame comes, fine. But we should not desire this, because this is Maya, ultimately. Then, Jiva Himsa. Prabhupada, this is envy towards, Himsa means envy or violence towards other living entities. And Prabhupada says, Jiva Himsa means, as Prabhupada was also saying, no preaching. If we don't preach, this is a violence towards living entities. Interesting. That's why the Sankirtan devotees, they sit in a van and eating this khichdi and think, oh my God, one person walked by, they could have taken a book from me, and I'm doing sense gratification, I'm eating this prasadam. Let me eat fast, that I can go out. Look at this, another person walked by. He doesn't want to commit jiva himsa. So preaching is also very important. Preaching is actually, in our movement, is the most important. When I was a very young devotee, there was a book, I think compiled by Prabhu, or I don't know, Preaching is the Essence, the yellow book. I read this book 508 times. This was my, I don't want to say Bible, but this was my book, because this was it. And there Prabhupada says in one particular, those who are serious disciples, they engage in preaching mission. And I was young bhakta 1 week, and I said, I am a serious disciple. I am. I want to do preaching. So this is our, not bread and butter, this is our life air, our prana, preaching. Book distribution, prasadam distribution, harinam, making devotees, making big festivals, huge festivals. This is our life. Preaching, jiva himsa. Then we have a nishida chara, accepting things forbidden in the Shastra. I don't want to go into details because there are many bad examples. things that are not allowed in the Shastra, but we say, oh, this is actually okay. We justify our sense gratification. And you say, I had a dream that so-and-so came to my dream and told me, it's okay to smoke a cigarette because Krishna wants you to smoke a cigarette. And say, see, Krishna, not me. You know, this is a sense gratification. And then we have a kama, desire for material gain, for women and money. I don't want to speak about this either. This is the oldest trap for anybody in a leading position. Somehow or other, as soon as you sit on Vyasasan, somehow you become very attractive. I don't know why. Or when you sing kirtan, anybody in a leading position somehow is very attractive. And then you think, it is me who is attractive. But actually it is Krishna who is attractive. Because we speak knowledge of Krishna. I'm sitting on this higher seat apparently than the other devotees, except few on the chairs. Not because I am anything, but because I, at this moment, represent the spiritual knowledge coming down from Srila Vyasadeva. So this is who we are. If we have any success, any achievement, it's only because of Krishna's achievement. So therefore we should again take this Hare Krishna, not mine. Thank you for praise, but it's not mine. It's just not. Just 1 second. Then we have a puja, hankering for popularity. This is everybody. Nowadays with the media, it's such a fine line. Preaching, I preach, I make a YouTube channel. It's a fine line between preaching and hankering for popularity, to see my own, video. Look at my video. I posted like last summer. I am giving my book to a mayor of Cork in Ireland. Me. So I was thinking, is this puffed up? Well, in one sense it is puffed up, but in the other sense, I'm giving a book to a mayor of Ireland. So it's very fine line, hankering for popularity and actually doing some service. And then last time, at the last point, conclusion, this is the heaviest one. One thinks he's an avatar. One thinks he's an avatar. So we had some in the past, the people did think they're avatars, which is an amazing thing. And you can think, how is this possible? How can a devotee think he's an avatar? But it's possible. When you constantly, as Prabhupada gives the example of a frog in a well, you puff yourself, your false ego, you're bigger and bigger. And the devotee says, oh my dear Guru Maharaj, the weather is bad today because you are displeased with your disciples, and when you are displeased, the demigods are displeased, and therefore they created bad weather. This actually, I heard that. This was some years ago. And imagine if you hear this, you will think like, actually it's true. Maybe that's true. And if you constantly hear somebody praises you constantly, then definitely it can get into your head. And so imagine you can become an avatar. You think you are, whatever incarnation of such and such, and, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, or whatever you think you're incarnation of, and then you get into it. So these are all traps that we should avoid in our full surrender to Krishna. So this is 900. I would thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for your comments. And if you have more comments, Prabhu, my microphone, if you can give to the Prabhu. Jai.
It's our favorite.
Thank you.
No, that's a private exchange of love.
Thank you very much for your class. There's so many wonderful points. I just want to talk a little bit or ask about that last point about being avatar.
Yes.
When Krishna Kshetra Swami gave class, I asked a similar question, that devotees can be empowered, and in that sense they become Shaktavesh avatar, different levels of Shaktavesh avatar. But yes, one shouldn't think that they're an avatar, but that empowerment can come to all varieties of devotees. Prabhupada Shaktavesh avatar to take Krishna consciousness out of India and spread it around the world. What an incredible Shaktavesh avatar he is. But every devotee can be empowered, and in that sense, on some level, they're Shaktavesh avatar.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, this is true. We see in the past, look at this, ultimately this. Look at this building. TOVP. This is empowerment. You know, devotees did so many things in the past. You know, distributed millions of books. I was reading, where was the recent, again on the course I think we learned that there was one marathon that they did over 1 million Back to God magazines, wasn't it? 1 million Back to God in 1 month. This is not normal. This is humanly impossible. There's the one devotee who was, they said he was such a good book distributor, he distributes 30 magazines before the van stops. You know. Van was still moving. He opens the window and distributes books while van was moving. You know. So that's in. Okay, Prabhuji, there's a microphone. Oh, here's the one.
Can I? Yeah, Prabhu. So
just put him close to the mic.
So Prabhu, one thing that I mean, several things touched me, but like one thing that you spoke about. The fact that you are there and speaking is because of the lineage that is coming from Srila Vyasdev.
Yes.
And you're representing the scriptures so nicely. So I think that if fame comes to you, you deserve it, actually. So now, based on the fame, actually, I want to congratulate you because you deserve the position that you are having to speak from there, actually. You're deserving the position to speak from there because you're representing the authority so nicely, actually. Now, and as a result of this, definitely you deserve fame, actually. It will automatically come to you because whether you want it or not.
Yes.
And you quoted a point that Narada Maharaj said that fame is more difficult to tolerate than humility. And my question to you is that a universal thing, or does it depend on you, or does it depend on who the person is? For example, if it is Indra versus Hiranyakashipu or versus you, or is it not universal? My question is about fame versus humility, which is, I mean, I think it is not universal, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, universal means I have to examine every person in the universe. I don't know. But I'm saying that, you know, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, these people are very easily getting with fame. For them, it's not because they know their constitutional position. But Maharaj said this. I'm repeating this because Maharaj, you know, if anybody knows what fame is, he knows what fame is, you know. I cannot compare it to his fame, you know. Yes, Prabhu, he's waiting since a long time. I think we have to go also. Yes,
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes, I'm pretty sure it's coming from there, or maybe it's a commentary by one of the other acharyas, that Pratishta is the root cause of all the other anarthas. So I taught Nectar Devotion quite a few times, and it stood out. So we got to really watch that one, because then the sun of the holy name gets blacked more and more and more.
Yes. Thank you. I think, okay, one last one, but just a question. No, not prolonged question, because it's already 9:05.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my question is, this Bhagavatam sloka is, purport is, Sloki says that Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakta Madhyaji Mang Namaskuru Mame Vaisi Yukta Bhamatara Matparana. Please short explain.
I think this is the subject of different lectures. 5:00. We can, with respect. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Hare Krishna, thank you for your comments very much. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Parimanande Hari Hari Bol.
His great Jaya Sacinandana Prabhu ki